A war is raging on the streets of America. It's a war of hate waged by a small group of fanatical warriors. Neo-Nazis are the largest segment of the white supremacist movement in America today. They venerate Hitler, hate Jews, and believe in the superiority of the Aryan race. American Nazis have but one goal: to secure the future of the white race.
Once white people have finally just had enough, they're going to take up ball bats, tire irons, and guns and just start cleaning house.
Next, we'll expose how neo-Nazi groups are updating Hitler's tactics to spread their message of hate over the internet and exploit American fears about the economy and immigration, all in a desperate effort to unite white America under the swastika. April 19, 2008, Washington, D.C., the day before Adolf Hitler's birthday. Members of the National Socialist Movement are scheduled to arrive on the National Mall within an hour. They're sending a message to the world from the steps of the U.S. Capitol. America should be for whites only.
Out of the street and on the sidewalk, please. On the sidewalk.
Like Hitler, the NSM uses rallies and marches to display their message of hate. The NSM predicts this will be their biggest march in a decade. In past rallies around the country, what they've had to say has triggered a violent response from those who hate everything the Nazis represent. The police are preparing for potential violence. Months earlier, in central Detroit, Jeff Scoop, commander of the National Socialist Movement, recruits supporters by handing out flyers advertising his march on the Capitol.
We're organizing for the March on DC this April, so we're trying to round up as many people as we can. Americans should be concerned about it. Our borders are being overflown with non-white people from third world countries, and we're seeing an America that is no longer the America that our forefathers once knew.
With 55 units across the U.S., the National Socialist Movement is one of the largest of all American neo-Nazi groups.
There you go, ma'am. Rally against illegal immigrants.
We're going to rally against immigration. Washington, all right, thank you, sir.
Help us take a stand against illegal immigrants. No, thanks. It's about America, man. We're taking the message to the streets. Without action, there is no change. We're not a social club. We're not a clique. We're not a gang. We're a real political movement in the streets working to make a change in the country.
There is, in particular, one major hot-button issue that groups are really using to try and galvanize around, which is the issue of immigration. This is a strategy that these types of neo-Nazi and white supremacist groups have used for a long time, which is to identify hot-button issues and try and use those as recruitment tools.
Neo-Nazis believe the Jews are trying to take over the world by orchestrating non-white immigration into the U.S. to erode the white majority through race mixing.
It's a Jewish conspiracy. They want to hold the white race down. It's what they do and how they undermine cultures, societies, and governments.
There's a long-standing idea that somehow the Jews are responsible for the ills of society. This is pure anti-Semitism. It's something that, during the Nazi era, Hitler blamed the Jews for all of Germany's ills. And in today's society, neo-Nazis believe that the Jews have a plan for really destroying white culture in this country and beyond this country. And it's classic anti-Semitism.
And I will tell you in one word: Jews! Jews! Jews!
For the neo-Nazis, there is no greater threat to the race than the Jews. Some see only one defense: extermination.
I demand that you hear my words, that there will not be a Jew left alive in 2005!
Although the NSM's ranks are small, for American Nazis, this is no empty threat. Granada Hills, California, August 10th, 1999. The North Valley Jewish Community Center. It's a typical summer Tuesday. About 200 children have come to spend their day at the Jewish Community Day Camp. After playtime in the yard, camp counselor Mindy Finkelstein ushers the kids indoors. Just as she reaches a camper named James, all hell breaks loose.
You guys, come on. All of a sudden, I heard gunshots. Bam, 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 bam. I felt air rush through my leg. I dropped all of my equipment, grabbed James, and jumped into the room that was in front of me.
The community center is under attack. As more shots are fired, the children and counselors flee through an emergency exit. Just outside the door, Mindy collapses.
And at that point, I couldn't run anymore. I just assumed I was ready to pass out and die. So one of the other counselors said that she would stay back with me. She said, Mindy, we have to close our eyes and play dead. I said, but what if he comes out and finds us? She said, it doesn't matter. We have to play dead.
A worker at the center calls the police.
How many people are there?
I don't know. The whole school, 75, 80 people.
I need you to calm down.
There's about 100.
What's going on? You're my only link.
Okay, there's 200 people in camp, and there's 60 or 70 in nursery school and staff.
Okay, listen to me now, all right? Do you have any idea if there was anybody
I don't know. I'm underneath the desk.
Within minutes, the first units of the Los Angeles Police Department arrive.
Initially, emergency services, the paramedics responded, and they held their ground because no one knew if the shooter was there. It was all unclear. We just knew that we had injured people. Several of them were young children. One was, first report, was very seriously injured.
After the gunman flees, authorities determine the attack came from an automatic weapon. As word of the shooting spreads, frantic parents swarm the building, searching for their children, searching for answers.
We then had the ongoing major concern as to who did this, what was the reasons for it, why would somebody attack a Jewish youth center.
While officers begin a desperate manhunt, police find 5 victims. Mindy Finkelstein, another adult, and 3 children have been wounded.
And I received an emergency phone call to report back to my office, and I picked up the telephone, and I was told by a nurse from Holy Cross Hospital that Mindy has been shot, but she's going to live. And the first thing that popped into my mind before I collapsed was that she was shot because she was Jewish.
But the killer's rampage is far from over. Joseph Aledo, a Filipino-American postal carrier, is delivering mail on a quiet street 8 miles from the Jewish Community Center.
So he then approached my brother, asked him if he can mail something for him. And my brother reached out to get whatever it was, and Buford took out a gun and shot him twice. And my brother turned and ran about 10 feet past the mailbox where he was again, shot 7 times behind the back, and once behind the head. And that's where he passed away. It's just inside of that gate area there.
The next evening, the gunman, Buford Furrow, turns himself into the FBI. A former member of the neo-Nazi organization Aryan Nations, Furrow claims he fired on the community center because he blamed the Jews for the decline of the white race. He calls the attack a wake-up call to America to kill Jews. Joseph Aledo was a target of opportunity, and Faro shot him because he was a person of color working for the government.
A hate crime is different because it's personal. You know, it's who you are. You can't change how you were born. And yet some people have this crazy idea that you don't belong.
I lived in the San Fernando Valley, working at a Jewish community center as a 16-year-old camp counselor. What's the harm in that? Nothing, apparently, unless you're a neo-Nazi.
Faro's attack that day followed Hitler's tactics of terror. Faro shot defenseless men, women, and children to send a message.
Cohen? Yeah. Cohen, come on in.
You can be a one-person terrorist. You can clearly create fear, anxiety, anger, and emotion by an act single-handedly that impacts literally thousands of people, not just in the media community, not just within the county or the state. People who heard about this outside of California has the same sense of, are my kids in jeopardy? Am I in jeopardy?
The shooting stunned the Jewish community and the public at large. But fellow members at the neo-Nazi organization Aryan Nations saw it as a profound failure.
He went into a Jewish daycare center, fired 70 rounds. One shot, one kill. That's the way it should have been.
Neo-Nazis are a complex group made up of many factions, but unified around a single premise: superiority of the white race.
Neo-Nazis do promote violence, and they promote it all the time. Anytime a group says that we have to rid a country of non-whites and homosexuals and others who do not fit into the Aryan mold, that's just a violent concept in and of itself. And, how do you rid the nation of those people? Well, you forcibly remove them.
While white supremacists' hatred towards outsiders is broadly defined, neo-Nazis' sworn enemy is the Jews. Today, most neo-Nazis do not wear the uniform of the Third Reich, but they all embrace Nazi ideology.
They believe in the ideas that were propagated by Hitler, but also that make sense to them now. In other words, they're not living in the 1940s. They understand that they're living, in the 21st century, and they believe that the white race is threatened right now, and in fact, more threatened than at any other time in the history of the white race. They're trying to say, we're here to defend and stand up for the white race. But the bottom line is they're racist and they're anti-Semites. And that's what they are. They can say it any which way they want, but their ideology, their actions prove that that's what they are.
They believe the white race is doomed to extinction by a rising tide of color manipulated by the Jews.
Well, it's the result of propaganda. They have come to the idea that Jews control everything, that not only are they evil, but they are extremely smart, and they, created communism, they created capitalism, they sort of created all the isms in order to destroy the kind of organic community of the white man.
The main concern of today's neo-Nazis is preserving the white race. They go by the 14-word slogan, "We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children." That is the moving slogan and mantra for the neo-Nazi movement right now.
We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. White power!
All white supremacists focus on that phrase, the idea that the white race must be preserved and that they're losing their place in today's society in the United States and in Europe as well.
This ideology is in line with Hitler's belief that Aryans are genetically superior to all other races.
They've adopted these very core ideas of real Nazis, the German Nazis, right? That we can create a better human race through breeding, and that would be a good and desirable thing to do. Of course, the reality is that the vast majority of scientists, of real scientists, say and understand that there really is no such thing as race in the sense that you really can't identify it scientifically. But, when you look at people's genetic makeup, for instance, the amount of genes that change to go from, a, quote, white man to a black man are absolutely infinitesimal.
According to the Anti-Defamation League, which monitors extremist groups, the number of neo-Nazis in the U.S. is currently estimated at 13,000, compared to 10,000 racist skinheads and 5,000 members of the Ku Klux Klan. American Nazis have been spreading hate in the U.S. for nearly a century. They have their roots in Nazi Germany and the rise of National Socialism. Germany's defeat in World War I devastated the country both economically and militarily. Widespread unemployment, economic depression, and a crumbling infrastructure demoralized the German people. In 1933, Adolf Hitler seized control of the government and reignited German nationalism by introducing the ideology of National Socialism. National Socialism preached an extreme doctrine of national pride, resulting in a belief in racial superiority, anti-Semitism, and allegiance to a leader or Führer. One of the first orders of business for the new party was to purge the culture of Jewish ideas, because Hitler believed they were responsible for Germany's defeat in World War I and the spread of democracy and communism. The Nazis embarked on an aggressive propaganda campaign, burning books by Einstein, Freud, Hemingway, and others. Book burnings were an omen of things to come. Once Hitler turned public opinion, he was free to implement his final solution for creating a racially pure nation. During the Holocaust, the Nazis murdered over 11 million Jews, homosexuals, gypsies, and those with physical and mental disabilities. Today, neo-Nazis in the U.S. hold similar beliefs and use propaganda tactics similar to the German Nazi Party, but they've adapted them for an American audience. The National Socialist Movement is the legacy of America's most notorious Nazi, George Lincoln Rockwell.
Rockwell started becoming active in the 50s in this country, and he created the American Nazi Party in 1959. It was the first group that had a really sizable following and that attracted media attention. And a lot of today's neo-Nazi groups can be traced back to Rockwell's group.
Rockwell found justification in the Bible for killing all Jews and sending blacks back to Africa.
And Rockwell did a terribly important few things. First of all, he made hate holy, in the sense that he said he understood, he was absolutely an atheist his own self, but he understood this was a very religious country. So Rockwell adopted an extremely heretical reading of the Bible called Christian Identity, which says that, among other things, it says that Jews are literally biologically descended from Satan.
Commander Rockwell, do you model yourself on Hitler?
If I were religious, I would say Hitler was the second coming of Christ. I think Hitler was a gift from Providence. I think he was so far above anything that I'll be able to accomplish that it's just almost sacrilegious for me to speak of myself in the same terms with Hitler.
On August 25, 1967, Rockwell was gunned down by a disgruntled follower while leaving the Econowash laundromat in Arlington, Virginia. But his National Socialism still exists in the United States, and the NSM still believes in the core values of the American Nazi Party.
A lot of today's neo-Nazi groups can be traced directly back to Rockwell. He's considered a hero in the neo-Nazi movement. At National Socialist Movement meetings, they venerate him. They have a big poster of Rockwell and a big poster of Hitler side by side. They consider him a hero of the movement. He's an American Nazi.
Men from Rockwell's American Nazi Party went on to form their own white supremacist groups, like the National Alliance and Aryan Nations. In 1974, Richard Butler founded Aryan Nations on neo-Nazi ideology and the principles of Christian identity, a belief that set them apart from other groups. Aryan Nations members do not wear the uniform of Nazi Germany, but they do embrace Nazi symbols. For nearly 3 decades, the group has been one of the most active neo-Nazi racist organizations. Aryan Nations' current leader, August Kreis, believes Buford Farrow's 1999 attack on the Granada Hills Jewish Community Center was a profound failure.
He went into a Jewish daycare center, fired 70 rounds. You know, one shot, one kill. That's the way it should have been. Kill them all like God sought them out.
Farrow's attack was rooted in the misplaced fear that the Jews are breeding whites out of existence, and that the only way he could protect the white race was to exterminate his enemies.
Violence is a necessary evil. A white society, again, is not going to be accomplished without violence. It's not. No amount of voting is going to change anything.
Aryan Nations lost its headquarters in Hayden Lake, Idaho in September 2000, when a court ruled against them in a lawsuit brought by a mother and son who were assaulted while driving by the compound. But losing its headquarters did not destroy Aryan Nations. It merely scattered its members.
There's no way to destroy it now. Going after one person's not going to help. Every time they do that and they do away with a major organization or try to do away with it, it breaks up into a lot of smaller organizations. So much harder to watch. You know, so they actually create more of a problem for themselves.
Today, August Christ oversees a virtual organization of Aryan Nations members. The organization's lower profile has not diminished its threat.
When people aren't as kind of aware or as cognizant as they should be of these groups, then it allows them to kind of work under the radar screen. And certainly that's a threat.
The National Socialist Movement, or NSM, is a direct descendant of George Lincoln Rockwell's American Nazi Party. They are one of the most visible Nazi organizations in America. Although they don't make their membership numbers public, the NSM boasts several thousand followers. The NSM was founded in St. Paul, Minnesota, and almost half of their members come from the Midwest. Commander Jeff Scoop meets with his leaders in Ohio to discuss the upcoming march on Washington.
Our first speaker is going to be Commander Jeff Scoop.
I'll talk to you a little bit about real patriotism. We as Americans, as American freedom fighters, are real patriots. Our race and our heritage is under attack here in America, and we are the vanguard. We're gonna march right to their doorsteps and say, we don't want your filthy immigrants. We don't want them. They don't belong here. This is not their nation. This is America. This is my country. This is your country. The swastika flies in Washington, D.C. They'll know.
Scoop's call for a defense of the U.S. homeland is at the core of his American brand of National Socialism.
First and foremost, we're Americans, then we're National Socialists. And you can see we've incorporated American symbols in with our National Socialist symbols. We're pro-American, and we use American National Socialist symbols. We use the uniforms to honor the past, to honor Commander Rockwell, and we march forward with American colors also.
America enjoys laws that protect free speech, but not all countries' laws are as liberal. In Germany, for example, it is illegal to display a swastika. Scoop and his Nazis exploit America's freedoms, providing hate material to the rest of the world. This activity has made Scoop a target.
Well, I recently got a letter from the British government saying that I'm dangerous to public safety there because of what I say and the message that I put across. I also can't go to Canada, be arrested if I went to Germany, because we send CDs and music over there and video games and things like that.
In the United States, the FBI planted at least one informant inside the NSM to monitor its activities, fearing the group will commit acts of domestic terrorism.
Vote for white power! My commitment to what I believe in is very strong, and I'm not going to get pushed out of the struggle. People that quit or abandon the cause, I call them cowards and yellow bellies, and I think that they need to stand up for themselves and reclaim this country. This is not their nation. They didn't come.
Just like Hitler's Nazi Party members, Scoop and his modern stormtroopers see themselves on the front lines of a 21st century racial war.
The solution may come about politically, or it may come through a revolution. We just don't know that now. You know, that remains to be seen. You know, we like people to run for office and things like that, but that may not be the be-all, end-all of it. I think, you know, it's going to have to get worse.
After the meeting, the Nazis moved to a private location for a book burning. Scoop orchestrated his first book burning a year earlier. After the NSM posted the photos online, the press picked up the story. It was great propaganda for the movement, and Scoop made it an annual event.
It'll be the second annual book burning since the Third Reich. Burning Jewish filth books, you know, the Talmud, which is basically their Bible. We're also going to burn the Communist Manifesto and many other books.
In the 1930s, German Nazis burned books to cleanse the German culture of dissenting ideas. By carefully controlling movies, books, and newspapers, the Nazis sought to control the minds of the German people and win them over. It's a tactic that worked for Hitler, and the NSM leaders hope it will eventually work for them.
Adolf Hitler came to power through democracy in Germany, and he was voted into his position, and he brought them from the ashes of the Versailles Treaty to the greatness that was Nazi Germany. And we intend to do the same thing within the United States. We intend on coming to power pretty much the same as Adolf Hitler did.
For American Nazis, Hitler's tactics provide a roadmap. They believe their success is inevitable. History has proven these groups cannot be dismissed.
When you look at when Hitler was on the rise, there was reports that dismissed his efforts as being essentially, you know, a few buffoons that weren't going to amount to much. So that's a pretty dangerous response to take, that these are just misfits and can be therefore dismissed.
Guys, we're here for 2008.
The NSM videotapes the event for a worldwide online audience. The images will be on the web before the flames of this bonfire die out.
Spread out with the torches. Make one wide circle.
All the torches lit.
Dip it in the gas. Gas over. Don't tip the can of gasoline. All right, everybody got a book? All right, everybody, let's burn the book. Start shredding them up. Burn the book. I got here in my hand one of the first offerings for the flame. Last year, we torched a bunch of letters from the German government banning our music. This year, we'll be burning the letter from the British government. This is freedom of speech. This is America. This is about our rights and our future.
Yo, pass it around. And Frank.
Blaze them now, boys and girls.
Let's get 3 sea calls. Sea calls! Sea calls! Guys, this is a Jewish flag. Hey, what do we do with this? Burn it! Is this fit for the flames? Yeah! Back to hell with the Jews! White power! White power! White power! Sing hard!
There you go. All right. You know you like it.
NSM Ohio, folks. Hey, Rock, come get some maggots. The next step, marching on D.C. We're going to take it right there, and we're going to shove it right in their face. So, D.C., here we come.
America is changing. In the past 60 years, the American economy has been rapidly shifting from an industrial economy to a global one fueled by knowledge technology, creating less demand for blue-collar labor.
Whereas back in our parents' or grandparents' day, a high school education could get you a good job and allow you to support a family. The economy's changed, and it's going to keep changing. The tough thing is that even a college degree doesn't seem like enough anymore.
Workers at the bottom of the wage scale who lack education and job skills are struggling.
The least educated or lowest education Americans, those who don't have a high school diploma, are experiencing negative economic effects from immigration.
Immigration has also added to the economic pressure, providing increased competition for low-paying jobs.
The economy's changed, and it's going to keep changing, and the pace of change will probably speed up, if anything. Immigrants are an easy group to blame, but they're not the cause. Kick your computer, not an immigrant.
In the general public, it's pretty well agreed upon that people are concerned about illegal, or undocumented immigrants from Mexico. From there, then, a group like the National Socialist Movement or White Revolution can then kind of extend upon that and say, this isn't just an issue about immigration, this is an invasion. And if you're concerned about immigration, then we would encourage you to take a look at some of our literature.
White Revolution, a small and relatively new neo-Nazi group, is using the mainstream issue of immigration to gain momentum and membership. Billy Roper, a former high school teacher, is White Revolution's leader. The group's goal is to promote cooperation among white supremacist groups. Immigration is the issue Roper uses to unify the movement and capture a mainstream audience.
White Americans, because they've been brainwashed for generations, are not ready to understand what National Socialism really is, but they do understand that their neighborhoods, their communities are being flooded by illegal immigrants. And that's an issue that we can talk to them about on their level. And for some of them, they'll be ready to understand the more deeper struggle that's going on and has been going on.
Roper focuses his hate on the changes in his hometown of Russellville, Arkansas. Arkansas has seen a rapid increase in its Latino population during the last 2 decades.
Really, this part of rural Arkansas looks no different from Southern California now. And it's like this in Iowa, it's like this in Georgia. Anywhere you have these big meat processing plants, they brought in the illegals, and it's really transformed the entire communities in these different states that before were almost entirely white. It's been a rapid transformation. I mean, the only thing more rapid was maybe the Visigoths transforming Rome. But that's what's happening here. It's an invasion by another name.
We have a long history that Mexican and Chinese immigrants built the railroad. Immigrants now are building the suburbs. A lot of our labor historically and a lot of our economic growth historically has come from immigration.
But for Roper, the discussion of immigration has racial overtones. He believes America should be the land of opportunity, but only for whites.
If it was 20 million illegal Swedish people moving to America, I wouldn't be complaining. I wouldn't have a problem with it. But it's because it's changing the very fabric, the very gene pool of America.
Like other neo-Nazis, Roper sees immigration as a threat to white supremacy.
If nothing is done, if things continue as they have, underneath the veneer of natural beauty that you see, will be a third world slum where whites are the minority.
They see it in some ways, too, as an advantage to maybe gain more membership. And we saw that certainly with the Klan. At a certain point, they were able to use the issue to recruit more people into the organizations.
We don't want your filthy immigrants!
Most neo-Nazi groups are taking advantage of the immigration debate to gain mainstream attention and increase their membership.
This is my country!
Neo-Nazi gangs think the time for talking is over. A band of tough-talking neo-Nazis, the Ohio State Hooligans, believes the White Revolution should erupt on the street. Matt Roberts is the group's leader and a critic of NSM for not being violent enough.
We condone violence if it's justifiable, and we'll be the judge of what's justifiable and what isn't justifiable.
We told the police, either you do the job or we're gonna do it for you.
But you ain't gonna like it when we handle it.
Most groups pussyfoot around and say they're legitimate organizations, crime-free, they don't fight, they don't drink. We don't lie. We fight, we drink. If somebody pisses us off, we'll beat them up if we have to. If that means kicking a rock up out of the dirt and smashing their brains in, then that's what I'll...
As the National Socialist Movement's March on Washington looms, Washington, D.C. law enforcement prepares for the worst. In 2005, a National Socialist Movement march to protest black crime in Toledo came under attack from a large group of counter-protesters. Anti-racists, outraged to see hundreds of local police protecting white supremacists, spark a 4-hour riot. Smoke from tear gas fills the streets as rioters pelt police with bottles and bricks. 12 officers are injured. Stores are looted and set on fire. At the end of the day, 114 people land in jail. All of them are protesters.
All it's going to take is another Toledo riot for the white people to finally just get pissed off enough to where they're going to take up ball bats, tire irons, and guns and just start cleaning house.
But today, the DC authorities have everything in place. Over 1,000 police line the parade route. Helicopters, SWAT teams, motorcycle police, and officers on horseback will monitor every move of the Nazis and the protesters.
Come on, let's go. You got to get it on. Got things to do.
The DC authorities want to ensure this march will not turn violent like Toledo. On the morning of April 19, 2008, Jeff Scoop and his neo-Nazi organization, the National Socialist Movement, gathers in Baltimore. The group will drive to Washington, D.C., where they'll undergo a security check before being bused to the demonstration site. April is a month that looms large on extremist calendars. April 20th is Adolf Hitler's birthday. The NSM uses the internet to promote the march, even spending money on a professional video.
I think the March in Washington's interesting because it shows once again how even neo-Nazi groups whose principal enemy is the Jew have completely focused in on illegal immigration. What that says to me is that the NSM has realized this is an issue that will play, that will actually bring us members.
But the faithful aren't the only ones who hear the message. Across the country, news of the upcoming March on D.C. travels through the anti-racist community. Historically, anti-racists vow to stop racism by any means necessary. Some have come armed and prepared to confront the enemy. On the National Mall, the police braced themselves for the arrival of Scoop and his Nazis, as well as the volatile protesters. The NSM works closely with police to ensure that Scoop and the neo-Nazis have enough police protection. The police check the Nazis for weapons. While the police screen the Nazis, a group of anti-racist protesters arrive at the Washington Monument.
We're here today because the group that's coming out, the National Socialist Movement, what they like to do is they come out in these brown shirts and swastika armbands, and it's a tool of intimidation and terror. That's the only reason anyone does it. And if it's right or legal or moral for them to be out here and intimidating people, then it's right and fair and legal and moral for us to be out here intimidating them back.
Tensions start to rise when protesters confront 3 NSM supporters. The neo-Nazi supporters calmly walk through the crowd. The anti-racists are outraged by their bravado. Police rush in to protect the Nazi supporters, a response that agitates protesters. But freedom of speech in America is a protected right. An anti-racist fires off pepper spray, triggering a melee. Police pounce on 4 anti-racist protesters.
placed under arrest for carrying prohibited weapons and deploying in the crowd with a metal pipe and pepper spray. All right?
That's what this country was founded on, doing what you believe is right and actually standing up for stuff. Whereas it comes down to this, and we're just going to let some Nazis walk in here all over our capital. Is that what this country's about? So I mean,
but what you guys do is dangerous.
It is dangerous, but it's what
in the side of the head.
And I've been busted in the side of the head, and it's well worth it to me to stand up for what I believe and back down to some ignorant people who refuse to, acknowledge change in the world and positive change at that. So it's a worthy risk, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as everybody else here was concerned.
By the time the Nazis arrived, police lined Constitution Avenue, which leads from the Washington Monument to the Capitol building.
Out of the street and on the sidewalk, please.
Onlookers also flanked the route. About 30 Nazis traveled to D.C. for the march.
Everybody out! 2x2 this way.
Jeff Scoop redesigned the NSM uniform for the event.
Follow me, let's go.
The NSM has traded in the traditional brown shirts of Hitler's Nazis for black tactical dress. The message? The NSM is no 1930s relic.
Let's go.
They are 21st century warriors. The march begins.
We are the National Socialist Movement from Detroit.
We want jobs for American people. We want America for Americans.
And we're here to send a message to illegal immigrants. You will go home. This is our country.
"45 minutes later, Scoop safely arrives at the Capitol and addresses the angry crowd.
We stand here today to demand that our politicians do their duty and their job to defend this country and to send the criminals, the illegal invaders back home where they belong. We demand it, we expect it, this is our country, and we're taking it back. Right power! Right power!
But the speech falls on deaf ears. The protesters have come prepared. They have brought a bullhorn and are drowning out the Nazis with the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The anti-racists have silenced the NSM, at least for now. But Jeff Scoop and his organization remain undeterred. At the end of the day, Nazis and anti-racists peacefully go home. But the neo-Nazis are encouraged by the event. Publicity about the march purportedly won them a flood of new members. Jeff Scoop has announced the establishment of several new NSM units. The NSM spectacle pales in comparison to Hitler's Nuremberg rallies. But using 21st century tools like the internet, Scoop's message reaches a larger worldwide audience.
Well, this is a question that's always asked about how dangerous is the rhetoric of these groups, and the rhetoric does lead to action. We've seen neo-Nazi skinheads, white supremacist prison gangs, acting out on the ideology, being involved in assaults and murders, and this is something that, as a society, we need to fight against that.
Although they have failed to convert the American public, neo-Nazis continue to exploit the nation's fears about the changing face of America. And they believe their goal of an America united under the swastika is within reach.